sages Sanat and Sanatan. O Radha, please be merciful to me. Yes, everyone ready? Lyrics? This is a very sweet song. This is written by none other than our very profound Shiksha Guru in our Parampara, Srila Rupa Goswami, after who we are called Rupanugas, from his book called Stavamala. It's in Sanskrit, but the Sanskrit is relatively very easy. So please follow along if you can. We will sing one line at a time, so call and response. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai 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 Gokula Karuni Mandala Mahite Gokula Karuni Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Radhe Jaya Jaya Damodara-rati Vardhana Veshe Damodara-rati Vardhana Veshe Hari Nishkuta Vindhaviti Neshe Hari Nishkuta Vindhaviti Neshe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Vanundadi Navasachi Lekhe Vanundadi Navasachi Lekhe Lalita Sati Guna Ramita Vishakhe Lalita Sati Guna Ramita Vishakhe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite Karuna Gurumai Karuna Bharite Karuna Gurumai Karuna Bharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopi Vallabh Radha Gopi Vallabh Radha Jaya Radha Gopi Vallabh Radha Gopi Vallabh Radha Jaya Gauranika Jaya Gauranika Gauranika Jaya Gauranika Jaya Gauranika Jaya Gauranika Gauranika Jaya Gauranika Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shri Radha Gopi Vallabh ki jai Gaur Nitai ki jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki Srila Prabhupada ki jai Shri Radhastami Mahamahotsav ki jai Jai Gaur Premanande. Once again, welcome to the Sunday feast. This is our regular Sunday feast program, and we have a double treat today. We have Radhastami, or the appearance of Srimati Radharani today. Do we have anyone here for the first time? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. We will have some more interactions with you later. So today's class is is a continuation of what we discussed last week. If you're not here, I'll try to recap probably in 2 minutes, and then we'll continue what was discussed in previous class. So the previous class was given by my good wife Sadanti Devidasi, and I'm continuing where she left. So in last class or the last Sunday discussion, we talked about the three energies of Sri Krishna, or the Chitta Shakti or Sandhini Samved and Haladini Shaktis, the different kind of energies which comes from Lord Krishna and how they act and what is the essence of those energies. We discussed about how there are devotees who believe in impersonalism or believe in merging into the effulgence of Lord, and yet there are devotees who believe in the form of Sri Krishna and devotee, the utmost devotee of Sri Krishna Radharani. And we also discussed about how our different our acharyas were worshipping or in the mood of worship of Srimati Radharani, including the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, Bhakti Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and of course Srila Prabhupada. Now today, I'm expecting that we will have larger audience later part of the class. So it's a continuation of understanding the Radharani or the Radha Tattva from our acharyas. We're talking philosophy today, so please excuse me, you might be here to hear some glory, some pastime, some nectar. But Srila Prabhupada always asked us. In fact, during 1971, Srila Prabhupada was in London and he gave Srimad Bhagavad the festival class. And all he was speaking about was the Tattva, the Radha Tattva, or who is Radharani and how we can understand her Tattvata. So lots of the quotations or lots of the shlokas or the Sanskrit and Bengali things that I will read today would be from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita is a beautiful book that is compiled by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, where he glorifies Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela, 15th chapter, 27th verse. Karnamrita Vidyapati Shri Gita Govinda Ihara Shloka Gite Prabhura Karaya Ananda. Translation. The Lord especially liked to hear Bilva Mangal Thakur's Krishna Karnamrit, the poetry of Vidyapati, and Sri Gita Govinda by Jayadeva Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt great pleasure in his heart when his associates chanted verses and sang songs from these books. So we'll come to this point, but Lord Chaitanya is not different from Radha Krishna. He is the incarnation of Radha Krishna combined. We'll discuss that in a little bit, but so he himself, the Lord himself, he relishes the writings of Jayadeva Goswami. Now who is Jayadeva Goswami? Jayadeva Goswami is a poet who appeared in 12th century, so probably 1300 years. Yeah, probably 1000 years ago. And he wrote Krishna Karnamrit. This book is all about Krishna's glories, the sweetness of Krishna. And there's a specific verse, if you have heard, Dehi Pada Pallavam Yudar. It's a very famous verse. Priye Charu Shile. Very important Sanskrit compilation. So in that verse, he was writing that how Sri Krishna is placing Radharani's lotus feet on his head. And he was writing, and he's a scholar, but not ordinary person, fanatic. And he was writing and he was saying, how come the creator of the whole world, who is maintainer, annihilator, and just by whose desire the entire world manifests, who is independent, who is never born, who is the controller of the controllers, how come such a person, how come I write this and the audience who will read it will be able to understand or relate with the subject? So he was confused, should I write it or should I not write it? There are also descriptions that he wrote the verse and then he striked through with a line in the middle and saying that no, this is not proper. So, and he was confused, he didn't know which direction to go, and he said, okay, let me do my prayers, Sandhyavana, I'll go to Ganga, take a dip, maybe I'll pray, do my Gayatri Vanna, and I'll get some realization. So he said to his wife, Padmavati, I'm gonna come back, I'm just gonna take a dip, do my Vanna and come back. Meantime you can prepare the Bhoga and offer and get ready for Shraddha. Okay. So he left, and probably in a few moments, there was a knock on the door, and Padmavati opened the door, and she saw here was Jayadeva Goswami. She said, okay, maybe he was quick, I don't know. He finished his one knock with you. So he said, okay, Swami, come. So he said, yes, okay. Then he went to his desk again, and he completed the verse, and then Padmavati served him some nice hot food, and You had prasadam. He was full. He said, okay, I'll be back. I'm going to go out. Then he went out. There was again knock on the door, and Padmavati opened, and it was Jayadeva Goswami again. And Jayadeva Goswami said, prasadam. So Padmavati was confused. She was like, you had prasadam 2 moments ago. He said, no, I was doing my vandana, I just came home. Then he rushed to his desk and he saw there were beautiful writings on his palm leaves, and he understood that Krishna himself, he came as Jayadeva Goswami and completed his work, his literary work. So, and later on, Krishna in his meditation also revealed there were some marks on his back, so that the strike through that Jayadeva Goswami did, that was actually on the body of Sri Krishna. So that's a story. What we learn from that is Sri Krishna approved the position of Srimati Radharani being superior than himself by writing with his own words, with his own hands, and probably his own words and thoughts. Now, there's one more art or one more work by Srila Rupa Goswami. So there are 2. One is called Lalita Madhav and Vidagdha Madhav. One is about Vrindavan pastimes, one is about the Dwarka pastimes. And in that, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Nithura Paduramamiva Pranasvam Asiradhika Asti Nanya Chakorasya Chandre Lekham Vinagati. And the translation goes like, O Radhika, you may be cruel or kind, still you are my life and soul. I have only you as a chakora bird who survives only on the moonlight. So Vidagdha Madhav is more of Vrindavan pastimes, and Lalita Madhav is Dwarka pastimes, and Sri Rupa Goswami quotes this. Now, coming back to our Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is Adi Lila, chapter 4, verse 69. Mahabhava Sarupa Shri Radha Thakurani Sarva Guna Khani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. Translation. Shri Radha Thakurani is the embodiment of Mahabhava. She is the repository of all good qualities and terrestrial among all of the lovely concerts of Lord Krishna. She is the transformation of love, so she controls his enjoyment. So the first word is Mahabhava. You might have, I think we heard it in the last lecture as well. So Mahabhava is the ultimate bhav, or the ultimate expression or feelings that anyone can have in love or in separation. And it says Srimati Radharani is the embodiment of that bhav. So it's like sometimes you're in a kirtan, or sometimes you feel connected to Krishna, or you see Krishna maybe after 6 months, and even some tears roll down, right? Or if some devotee is singing your favorite tune, your hairs, body hairs, they stand erect. Or you feel you cannot speak, you're choking up, something like that. So these are expressions, but these expressions may be at one person, maybe for 10 minutes, maybe 20, maybe 50, maybe 2 hours, but not 24 hours. Srimati Radharani has all those emotions, not just one. All the emotions at the same time for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 31 days a month, and 365 days a year. So that's why she is referred as Mahabhava Thakurani. Now, understanding the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Lord Chaitanya's appearance in context of Srimati Radharani. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 1, text 5. This is actually a compilation of Swarup Damodar Goswami, but it was quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now please listen carefully, this is very important. Radha Krishna Pranay Vikriti Aladini Shaktirasmat Ekatmanam Api Bhuvi Pura Deha Vedam Gadautau Chaitanyakam Prakatam Adhunatam Dvayam Chaityam Aptam Radha Bhava Jyoti Swaritam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. So it says, I'll read the translation. The loving affair of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestation of Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency, Aladini Shakti. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, previously they separated themselves. Now, these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment of complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. So there was a time, for us to understand time is different. When we say time, we relate. It's correlated to something. Once upon a time, there was a time when I was young. There was a time when I will be old. But the time element in Krishna's pastimes is something different. So it is said that Krishna was originally one, the Supreme Personality of God himself. But because he wanted to enjoy, he separated or he expanded himself into two. So from one, two personalities came. So of course that's Srimati Radharani. And again then Krishna expands himself, Balaram, and Balaram expands to Chaturvya, Shankar, Arjuna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva. And then there's Vishnu's so many creation and all the elements of material and spiritual nature. But the same personalities who were one at a time, they separated themselves just to give enjoyment or give pleasure to each other. Now again, those two personalities, they have become one. And that person is no one different than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, but in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Radha Krishna ek atma dui dehadari, अन्योन्य विलास रास आस्वादन करी. Radha Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed they have assumed two bodies. Thus, they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Now, this is one more verse. It's quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 483. But this is from Brihad Gautamiya Tantra. So, as we were speaking of different sages, validating the fact that Srimati Radharani is the ultimate devotee of Sri Krishna and superior than anyone. You might have heard about Gautam Rishi. Right? Does anyone know Gautam Rishi? Yes? That name sounds familiar? Gautam Rishi was the husband of Ahalya. Right? When Sri Ram was going through the forest, they stopped at Gautam and Ahalya's ashram, somewhere around in Chitrapur. So same Gautam, he's writing about Radharani. Devi Krishna Mayi Prokta, Radhika Para Devata, Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva, Kanti Sammohini Para. Transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Shri Krishna. She is the central figure of all the goddesses of fortune. So all the Lakshmis, she is the central. So there are many, Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of all those such kind of verses. I don't have enough time today to talk all, but I'm just going to skip few and come to CC again, Adi 4.82. If you can all repeat after me. Govinda Nandini Radha. Govinda Nandini Radha. Louder. Govinda Nandini Radha. Govinda Nandini Radha. Govinda Mohini. Govinda Mohini. Govinda Mohini. Govinda Mohini. Govinda Sarvasva. Govinda Sarvasva. Govinda Sarvasva. Govinda Sarvasva. Sarvakanta Shiromani. Sarvakanta Shiromani. Sarvakanta Shiromani. Sarvakanta Shiromani. This is a very important verse. Why? Because in 1931, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the Param Guru or the Guru of Srila Prabhupada, in 1931 he gave a class or lecture on Radhastami and he was speaking on this verse. So almost 100 years after, we're talking the same day and the same verse. It says, Radha is the one who gives pleasure to Govinda. And she's also the enchantress of Govinda. She's the be-all and end-all of Govinda and the crest jewel of all his consorts. So English is not my first language. When I was reading this, I could understand from Sanskrit and Bengali, but when I was reading it, it says, she's the be-all and end-all of Govinda. It's more North American term. Yes. That means she's the most important thing or most important personality to Govinda, Krishna. So these subjects are a little esoteric. These are not usually discussed on typical ISKCON class, or it's not a trend for ISKCON to do or have such classes where we speak about Srimati Radharani on a normal day. First thing is the speaker has to be qualified or understand the philosophy, and second thing is the audience has to be qualified to understand these esoteric topics. Because these subjects are something that you cannot, you can argue, we'll come to the second part later on, but the worship of Radharani or the worship of Radha Krishna was not very famous until Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread this through his teachings. So it is said that Madhavendra Puri was the guru of Ishwar Puri, who was guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was the one who initiated or started these talks or started talking about Radha Krishna. Before that, there were talks of such Radha Krishna Leelas, Radha Krishna pastimes, but they were not publicly or easily available to anyone. But we are fortunate. Today is being Radhastami. We are talking these subjects. Though I'm not qualified, you are. Um, One more thing that I wanted to discuss is the reason why we are so fortunate. So if you know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as I said, who is not different from Radha Krishna, he appears only once in one day of Brahma. So there's a calculation in Bhagavad Gita, you will understand the age of Kali, then multiplied by that is the total of Dwapar, then multiplied by something is what Satya Yuga is, Dwapar Yuga is, Treta Yuga is. So when 4 yugas finish, it's called Mahayuga, right? So in Brahma's one day there are 71 Mahayugas. That comes to like some 100 billion years, right? So if you look at the totality of that age, that billions of years, and if you look when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared probably 539 years ago, so it's very recent, right? If you talk about billions of years versus you talk about 500 years. So this is a very recent incident when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and what he did. I will read one shloka if I can find it real quick. Please excuse me for a moment. Lots of notes. Yes. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 1, text 4. So Kaviraj Goswami, this is the 4th text of the book. So it's important. And it says, Anarpita charim chirat, karunaya avatirna kalau, samarpayatum unnata ujvalam rasam, swabhaktim shriyam, hari purata sundara, duty kadava sandipita, sada hridaya kandare, spuratova, sachi nandana. So this is Mangal Charna. Usually we chant Mangal Charna, right? Om Jnana Smina. So we chant Mangal Charna. So there are different kinds of Mangal Charna. This is Mangal Charna where he is seeking the blessings. The translation is, may the Supreme Personality of Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi is mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered, the most sublime and the radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So anarpita, that something which was never given. Charim is like since ages it was never given. So billions of years in Shiraz. Unnata Ujvala. So Ujvala Ras is the conjugal mellow that we're talking about, the sweet pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna. Those were not accessible by anyone and everyone for millions and billions of years. So please consider yourself very fortunate that you are associated with this day, this society, this sampradaya, the Brahma Madhva Gauriya sampradaya. And you have blessing, or you have the things which were esoteric, not given for many, many years, they are accessible to you over the book counter. You can go over there and get Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam and read it and understand it. Now the next part I want to discuss is Srimati Radharani's confirmation of her excellency by various sampradayas. Sometimes when you go in the scholarly world and you present your view that we worship Radha Krishna in a temple, you say, how okay, but Narayana is supreme, right? You say, no, Radha Krishna. We believe in their yugal pastimes. Krishna goes to forest and does his rasa dance with his gopis, and then he disappears, then he comes again after a long time. So these scholars say these things are not bona fide. There's a very famous discussion among the scholars that Srimati Radharani is not mentioned in any scriptures. Lots of scholars, when they read scriptures and they do not have love and devotion for Krishna, they feel that Krishna is supreme, but Radharani is not mentioned anywhere. Some even say that Radharani is not mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, I was trying to keep my phone up so I can read this one to you. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, one of our previous acharyas, if you know about him, you know. If you don't know, Bhakti Vinod Thakur was magistrate in British India government. He was also awarded to be the controller of Puri temple. Though he was not someone born in Puri or born in the lineage of Puri Pandas, he was allowed to control Jagannath Puri temple for many, many years. He was father of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that we just talked, and few more sons who were brilliant. So he wrote a very beautiful song. The book is Gitavali. And I'm reading this because I remember when I was young, almost like kids. I was like school going kid, and I'll go to temple, and my Shiksha Guru is Krishna Prabhu, who is also Prabhupada disciple. He would specifically chant this song on every Radhastami, and he would explain the meaning of it. So I'll read first two lines and then read the translation. It says, Radha bhajane jadi mati nahi bela, Krishna bhajana tava akarana gela. Ataparohita surya nahi jani, Radha vihita madhav nahi mani. Kevala madhav puje so agyani, Radha anadar kore ei abhimani. I'll read the translation. If you desire for the worship of Srimati Radharani, if your desire for the worship of Srimati Radharani does not come about, then your so-called worship of Krishna is completely useless. Just as I never know the sun to be without sunlight. If you know sun, then there's sunlight, right? If there's no sunlight, is there sun? No, right? Then you can say it's a bulb. So I do not here regard Madhava without Radha. One who worships Madhav alone is imperfect in his knowledge, and one who disrespects Radha is simply conceited and proud. Next lines. Kabhani nahi suni koribe tapora sanga chitte ichchasi jadi braja rasa sanga. You should never associate with such a person if you all desire with your heart to participate in this eternal sportive pastimes of Braja. If one considers oneself to be humble maidservant of Sri Radhika, then that person very quickly meets the Lord of Gokula. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narad Muni, the personified Vedas, Lakshmi Devi, all honor and worship the dust of Radharani's lotus feet. Vedic scriptures declare that the goddess Uma, Rama, Satya, Sachi, Chandra, and Rukmini are personal expansion of Srimati Radharani. Bhakti Vinod, whose only treasure is the service of such Radha, humbly begs for her lotus feet. So, in our tradition, we never worship Krishna alone. Or either you worship God Nitai or worship Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. But you never see Krishna standing alone himself. Because our mood is to serve Krishna by approaching the superior most devotee, Srimati Radharani. Now we're going to talk, we have 15 minutes or so, we're going to talk about various references in different scriptures about Srimati Radharani. And we'll talk according to 4 sampradayas. So if you know, there are 4 schools of philosophy, and anything that originates or is explained by those 4 schools is considered bona fide. And anything outside of their teachings, no one talks about. We're talking about, in Sri Sampradaya, this is Yadava Vyudam of Sri Vedanta Desika, Sarga 9, verse 90. Krishna, devoid of any rasa, behaves in an unexpectedly dejected manner with Neela, Palika, and Radha. Then they ask other gopis, is this our Krishna? And other gopis reply, no, he doesn't seem to be from our group. He seems to be a cheater. So this is directly from the Sri Sampradaya text. Now, though we belong to Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, or forefather or the original teacher is Brahma, then coming to Madhvacharya. And after Madhvacharya, we had one more technical thing, Gaudiya. We are the one who follows or who believe in Gaudadesh or Gaura. We are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So even before that, let's go. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a follower or he believed in serving Radha Krishna. But just let's go to Madhvacharya. And this is Vanamali Mishra. He was a very famous poet, I think in 12th or 11th century. And he wrote a commentary on Gita known as Gita Godartha Chandrika. It's a Sanskrit commentary. Okay, so this is scholarly commentary. And it says, I offer my obeisances to the dark cloud of truth, knowledge, and bliss, full of unlimited wonderful opulences, who is sporting with Radha and who is son of Nanda Maharaj. So this is Madhva Sampradaya or Madhvacharya lineage, where their scholars are quoting Srimati Radharani in the translation of Bhagavad Gita or in the commentary of Bhagavad Gita. Now we're going to talk about Nimbarka Sampradaya, or which is also known as Kumar Sampradaya. The 4 Kumaras were the original teachers, and their most recent teacher was Nimbarka Swami. And this is Sri Radha Ashtam, written by Adya Nimbarkacharya. I'll read the translation. Obeisance to Sri Radhika, who is the goddess of pure goodness, who is most powerful, the embodiment of bliss potency. Obeisance to Sri Radhika, who is the beloved of Lord Krishna. O goddess, you and Sri Krishna are not different and always stay together. Please illuminate light and splendidly manifest with the Lord Krishna inside my heart. So this is Nimbarka. Now we are talking about Rudra Sampradaya, coming from Lord Shiva himself. And one of the famous teachers in Rudra Sampradaya, is Vallabhacharya, like Gujaratis know Vallabhacharya. So they belong to Rudra Sampradaya. And he writes, Krishna is the Lord who appeared in specific form in the heart of the gopis, who were feeling separation from him and seeing the entire universe filled with his thoughts. Krishna is the Lord who drove away the pride of Radha that she developed during her special pastimes with Lord Krishna during Ras Leela. So this is Vallabhacharya. Again, when you go to Vallabh Sampradaya, they are also very Rasika, they have a lot of emotions to Shri Krishna. Many of them worship Bal Krishna, Gopal. They don't worship Radha Krishna. But their founder is talking about Srimati Radharani. Now talking about the scriptures, we talked about the 4 Sampradayas. Now let's talk about some Puranas. In Padma Puran, Srimati Radharani's worship is mentioned in 7th as well as the 20th chapter of Bhumi Khand, volume 5 of translation. The incidents are Radhastami and Radha Damodar Vrat. So Padma Puran has definitely approved that. Now in Narad Puran, volume 3, 89th chapter describes Yugal Sahasranam, or 1,000 names of both Radha and Krishna. Right? So this is one more Puran. Now coming to Skand Puran, Vaishnav Khand, Bhagavad Mahatma talks about Srimati Radharani. The first chapter, volume 6, contains the famous statement, Atma tu Radhika Tasya. Radharani is Krishna's soul. So Skand Puran. Then you have Brahmand Puran, the Upoghat Parva. The last 2 chapters tell the story of Parshuram. In these chapters, Parshuram received a hymn called Krishna Prema Amrit from Rishi Agastya. He goes to Kailash to meet Lord Shiva, where he chops off Ganesha's tusk when Parvati is furious with Parshuram. Lord Krishna and Radharani arrive from Golok to appease Parvati. Yes, confirmation, one more. Matsya Puran. When listing the goddesses of various cities, says Rukmini Dwarakyam tu Radha Vrindavane Vane. So Matsya Puran also confirms the name of Radharani. Now, Brahma Vaivat Puran, you all know it, it's full of lots of pastimes of Radha Krishna, so I don't need to quote it. Then there is Devi Bhagavad Puran. And even in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Shukadeva Goswami says, Anyaradhito Nunam. So Shukadeva Goswami being a servant of Srimati Radharani, he is a direct servant of Radharani named Shuka. He is the parrot who always sits on Radharani and he carries the messages across. So he cannot, first thing, under the scriptural injunctions that you cannot take the name of your spiritual master. There are few things which you cannot share or which you cannot publicly discuss. One of them is the name of spiritual master, right? It's forbidden. There are few more things like mantra, so the Gayatri mantra, the Brahma Gayatri mantras and different mantras. Then your Ishtadev, who is your worshipable Lord, and your sadhana, and there's one more thing, I don't remember. So there are few things that you cannot say publicly, and Shukadeva Goswami being the most epitome of servant, he did not utter his master's name, but he did indicate. And even Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he comments, he clearly says that the Anyaradhika Nunam is clearly a reference to Srimati Radharani. Narad Pancharatra gives the Radha Kavach and Radha Sahasranam as told by Lord Shiva to Parvati. Garga Samhita is also, there's a story of Radha Krishna and how those divine couples perform Leelas in Vrindavan. Vishnu Puran, during the description of Ras Leela in chapter 13 of book 5, there are 7 shlokas, 32 to 38, describing Krishna leaving the Ras Mandal and going off with a special gopi. Only one gopi. The other gopis also describe the footprints and Krishna's adoring her with flowers and leaving her some way distance away. This is almost the same as the Bhagavatam. So you have Vishnu Puran also describing what other Puranas are saying. Now, why and how Srimati Radharani's position is supreme? So again, we will read from our favorite book, Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is CC Madhya 8.182. If one asks about the origin of love for Krishna, the answer is that origin is in Srimati Radharani alone. Who is the most dear friend of Krishna? The answer again is Srimati Radharani alone. No one else. Srimati Radharani's hair is very curly. Her 2 eyes are always moving to and fro. Her breasts are firm. Since all transcendental qualities are manifest in Srimati Radharani, she alone is able to fulfill the desires of Krishna and no one else. This is quoted from Govinda Lilamrit in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Even Satyabhama, one of the queens of Sri Krishna, desires the fortunate position and excellent qualities of Srimati Radharani. All the gopis learn the arts of dressing from Srimati Radharani. Even the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, and the wife of Lord Shiva, Parvati, desire her beauty and qualities. Indeed, Arundhati, the celebrated chaste wife of Vashishta, also wants to imitate the chastity and religious principles of Srimati Radharani. So Srimati Radharani she expands herself. So whatever we discussed in last, whatever pleasure-giving things that you find is also expansion of Srimati Radharani. Now you may ask that, if you go, let me read from Srimad Bhagavatam to be more bona fide. This is the first text of Srimad Bhagavatam that starts with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya Jata. Yes, everyone knows Janmadhyasya Jata, the first text. In that it says Chatheshwa Abhignya Swarata. So Krishna is Abhignya and he's Swarat. He's unborn, independent. If he's independent, then why is he dependent on Radharani? Right? The Shastras say that he's independent Lord who's never born, untouched by anything. Aja, Nitya, Sashvati. So why does he need? So yes, when we talk about the divinity or the divine nature of Sri Krishna, he is independent. But when it comes to relishing or enjoying or doing his pastimes, he is not independent. He also depends on Srimati Radharani. So on today's day, we have 5 minutes. Srimati Radharani was born in the home of, not in the home, but from the parent Rishabhanu and Kirtida. In Rawal, there's a nice small town out. It used to be right on the bank of Yamuna. Now Yamuna has gone far away. But what we hear from Rajavasi is that when Nanda Baba was going for his morning shower or morning dip in Yamuna, he saw, as he was entering Yamuna, he saw a golden lotus which was shining bright, and in that lotus there was also baby Srimati Radharani, was shining like a radiant sun. And immediately Rishabhanu picked her, brought her home. So our tradition is we usually fast until 12, which is almost the time. But in Braj or in Rawal, they specifically believe that Radharani is so kind that she was born on the first day or first thing in the morning. Krishna is cruel. You have to wait until midnight, right, for him to appear. But Srimati Radharani is the epitome of kindness and mercy. So she was born just as the day began. So when you go in 7 a.m. in the Rawal, they are doing Abhishek 6:30 or 7 in the morning. So today is a day where we think about her, understand the reason why I spoke all this is we understand the philosophy, we understand the reason, logic, and support of various scriptures, and come to the conclusion that Srimati Radharani is our ultimate goal. She is the Ishta Devtas, or she is the worshipable Lord for all the Gaudiyas. And our utmost our position or our goal to have is to be servant of the servant of Srimati Radharani, and try to be part of those eternal pastimes, if not in this lifetime, maybe soon. This lifetime.
You gotta work on that, right?
1 minute, yes sir.
Hi Vishnu, first of all, I just wanted to share my appreciation for all the pranamas that you had shared, all the research you had done, going through all the Puranas, going through all the different various points that you just touched upon. I really wanted to say thank you, Prabhu, because it's a lot of heavy hard work that you just did it for all of us to hear in a matter of 45 minutes, so thank you very much.
I should have done this before, but this is not my work. Disclaimer. Thank you. So please keep your day thinking about Srimati Radharani today. See how you can please her. Pleasing Srimati Radharani means bringing all the souls that have gone away from her and bringing back them to her lotus feet. And one of the best way to do is giving them books. They're also celebrating Bhadra Purnima. If you were in Janmashtami, you know Bhadra Purnima is auspicious. Purnima is probably in 7 days now? Yes, 6 days. And it is said that on Bhadra Purnima, if anyone puts Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives as a gift, he is sure to go back to home, back to Godhead, to Sri Krishna, without any doubt. So you all have opportunity in 5 days, and if you want to donate, or if at least take Bhagavatam first, put it on a throne, worship it on Bhadra Purnima day, and try to read these pastimes so you can understand more. If you are free to come to that corner where the books are displayed and ask about Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not, I don't know, what's the cost?
350.
How many books we have? 12? 14? Yeah, there are 10 cantos. So, sorry? Yeah. So 12 cantos, more than like this gigantic books you get, and you hear all the pastimes of Radha Krishna and all different incarnations of Sri Krishna. So take it today. There cannot be a better day than today if you don't have it home. If you have, take it still and give it to someone who you think is worthy of receiving such gift. So you and the other person receiving can benefit from it. So thank you so much again. We'll pause here and we'll continue more with different festivities. Stay tuned. श्रीमती राधा रानी की, राधाष्टमी महामहोत्सव की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की।